goddamnfitness.com, your number one for research supplements. Magic mushrooms to treat depression, the clinical research. Right, in this video we're going to go over what is psilocybin, what does psilocybin do, what are the benefits of this drug, is there any known side effects of psilocybin, what's the typical dosage of psilocybin, is psilocybin legal and safe to consume, are magic mushrooms, psilocybin, a cure for depression, and we'll list some interesting facts. Right, so what is psilocybin? Psilocybin is a psychedelic natural plant that's found in mushrooms, also known as magic mushrooms. It's present in 200 species of mushrooms. This is known as a hippie drug for a long time, where people report euphoric effects and visual hallucinations, sometimes even spiritual or religious experiences. It's been used for hundreds of years and grows all over the world. This can induce states of consciousness, and some people have noted of making great life decisions called mystical experiences. The history shows us that this has been used for religious ceremonies for years, even ancient murals proving that this has been found in the Sahara Desert, Mexico, and in Europe. Right, so what does psilocybin do? Well, it acts on the serotonin receptors in the brain, which is linked closely with dopamine, which alters multiple processes like aggression, anxiety, appetite, cognition, learning, memory, mood, nausea, and sleep. It's currently going through lots of clinical trials for helping people with mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety. The hippocampal neurogenesis may cause new neurogenesis to stimulate growth of new branches and connections between brain cells. They've tested this in mice under fear-setting concepts that have proven to show success to break plateaus with rodents. So what are the benefits of magic mushrooms? Well, in the 1970s, this was actually a controlled substance. In 2011, new studies were granted for suicidal and mood, depressive disorders, anxiety disorders. They've also listed OCD, alcohol dependence, and tobacco dependence. Based off this one trial, they shown really positive improvements for depression after a 2-month follow-up. So for anxiety, they proved mood and monitored this for different trials in patients. With OCD, the OCD symptoms lowered in 3 weeks. In alcohol patients, it significantly decreased alcohol use. With alcohol, 80% of the participants remained absent after a 6-month follow-up. Administered high dosage of magic mushrooms have helped terminally ill patients reset their thoughts on their mortality. So it's shown to remove ego and self-interest. Mycelium vegetative part of the fungus is like an underground network that is found in the woods, soil, and earth. Mushrooms rot in fungi that bacteria likes to eat. These have antiviral properties too. So an understanding that within nature, these mycelial networks are everywhere. Every tree is infused with mycelium. Every vegetable you eat is infused with fungi. It's part of the mutualistic relationship that we have with fungi that increases the host of defenses and resistance against diseases. So it's pretty interesting that Paul Stamets actually went over this information and kind of went through this kind of life philosophy behind, I guess, psilocybin magic mushrooms. So there's a lot more factors that need to be studied, but the research so far is really interesting. Now, guys, this is just for educational purposes only. Please consult a medical doctor if you decide to experiment with this. Right, is there any known side effects of psilocybin? Well, there's no lethal dosage of psilocybin or LSD for that matter. There are small groups of people at risk of serious mental illness, things like schizophrenia, for whom psychedelics can be triggered and push people through their first psychotic break. Sorry. All right. Temporary psilocybin side effects might include paranoia, impaired thinking, anxiety, bad trip, unpleasant experience, psychotic reaction, very sensitive mood, dizziness, large pupils, stomach issues, or nausea. Right, what's the typical dose of psilocybin? Well, a standard dose doesn't really exist. It depends on the previous usage of the substance. It generally ranges between 1 to 3.5 grams in one sitting. I would make sure you've chosen the right person you trust who is sober on this experience. Be in a familiar environment and ensure you have no medical conditions before you try even to experiment with this. This is not for medical advice, please consult a professional before engaging with the substance. This is for research informational purposes only. Right, is psilocybin legal and safe to consume? The majority of Europe and the USA have psilocybin marked as illegal. I believe in Colorado and Oregon, they are attempting to mark this as legal. This is country dependent. Please review the latest laws in your country. They might have changed by the time you've read this article. I know now in Colorado, they've currently just decriminalized it as of last week. So things are changing rapidly here, guys. Right. Are magic mushrooms a cure for depression? Yes, I believe they are a cure in the future. I would not advise to self-administrate this drug, but to keep hope and consult professionals that can assist you in a therapy session. Psilocybin retreats are becoming more and more popular around Europe and the globe to assist people getting better. It's known that most healthcare systems around the world are broken. Mental health and suicide are on the rise. It's almost like antidepressants are last minute temporary fix, and they're aggressively prescribed in some areas of the world. It's really just putting a bandage, not really fixing the single cure. And it's not incentivized by big companies to have a single cure in one sitting either. Right, other research in psychedelics. Well, there's a lot of research going on with ibogaine. DMT is another one, also kind of known as synthetic ayahuasca. LSD, you can look up other articles on our website regarding this. MDMA, cannabis, and kratom. So there's a lot of clinical trials and research that is going into this right now, and there's a lot of private funding that's happening. Right, some interesting facts. So Steve Bannon spoke out in favor of this, and Peter Thiel is an investor in psychedelic medicine. The company Compass Pathways has funded studies to specifically treat depression and anxiety. The FDA shows Compass Pathways promising therapy breakthroughs in clinical development programs. Trump signed a right to try legislation on experimental medicines. The right to try laws in the US and states were created to let terminally ill patients to try and experiment with therapies. So it's really interesting what's going on. And this is we're really just at the start of this research. Right, guys, these supplements and research chemicals do have side effects and risks, and they're still under research. Please be aware of this, and they're not approved by the FDA. They're not fit for human consumption. Check your local laws by the time you view this video. If you like the video, please give us a pound below, share and subscribe, and check out our website and the article for more information. Thanks for listening, guys.